No.
Okay. So year 12s. From this point onwards, we're not going to need to use the table anymore. Remember how long? Remember the table that we did last week?
Yes.
It took us probably at least 20 minutes to fill in that table for me to explain it. Um, Now we're going to use the calculator, and it's going to do the calculation for us. So if you didn't like using the table, then the good news is the CAS calculator for the next 4 or 5 exercises was going to do all the work for you. Okay? That's the good news. But in order to use the calculator, I need to tell you a few things about it before letting you loose. So the first thing that we need to do is actually find it. So get your calculator, and unfortunately the projector is not working today. So in a new calculator document, go to menu, then choose option number 8, which is finance, and option number 1, which is the financial solver. You're going to spend most of your time here for the next few weeks. Okay, so year 12s, can you give me a nod if you have found the financial solver on your CAS calculator? Yeah, and have you found it on yours, Kai?
Maybe.
So if you flip to 8E and look for work examples, it'll tell you where to find it there. He's got a different CAS. Okay, let me tell you now about what these different symbols mean. So they're on your sheets. I want to draw a few things to your attention. So the first one, N, is the number of payments, not the number of years. So for example, if I take out a loan for 10 years and I make repayments every month, how many months is that? 10 years?
120.
10 years, and I make a payment every month. How many payments is that? 120, because I have to times by 12. So we're going to do a few examples of this very, very soon. It's the number of payments, not the number of years. All right, next one, I. This is the interest rate, but it's the annual interest rate, the yearly interest rate. So you'll remember when we set up capital R, we had to use this formula. Oh, I can write it here, can't I? You'll remember we used this. Capital R equals 1 plus R divided by P divided by 100. What's that divided by P about?
It's compounding.
How many times it compounds within a year. So even without the P, it can still be compound interest. But with higher values of P, like 365 for daily, 52 for weekly, 26 for fortnightly, it means you're compounding more often. Let me give you an example. Let's say my annual interest rate is 12%. What will be my interest rate for 1 month? Repeat that again. My yearly interest rate is 12%. Why is it 1%, Taylor? Right, 12 months in a year. So for 12% for the whole year, that's 1% for 1 month. And that's what this R divided by P was about when we set up the recurrence relation. But when you put it into the calculator, you need to put in the yearly rate. So we put in 12, not 1 here. Okay? All right. Next one, PV. PV stands for the present value of your investment. So this is like your starting point. So I'll actually write that here, just so that it's clear. FV is your future value. That's like your endpoint. And PMT, this is a payment. So I think this will become more concrete when we do a few examples. But we've basically only got three things that we've looked at so far. We've got reducing balance loans, so paying off a mortgage, annuities, where we invest money in the bank and the bank pays us back, and savings accounts, which is where we invest money in the bank, but the bank doesn't pay us back. We can just take out the money whenever we wish. Okay, what else do I want to say? All right, let's take a look at the table, this part here. This table is important because when we use the financial solver, there is what we call a sign convention. So many of you are doing science subjects, physics or chemistry. Which way does electric charge flow? Which particle carries the charge? It's the electrons, right? So we need to distinguish in this subject between whether we are paying the bank money or whether the bank is paying us money. So here's the convention. If the bank pays money to us, we're going to give that a positive value. So Mrs. Kidd, who used to teach Year 12 further, she used to describe it like this. She would say, oh, bank gave us money. That's good. That's positive. Okay? And I found that people were able to remember that quite easily. So if that works for you, you can use that. But if we are going to be the ones paying the money, so giving money to the bank, oh, that's sad. So we're going to give that a negative sign. Okay? So when you set up a calculation on the financial solver, if you get the signs wrong, you'll get the wrong answer. So my job for the next couple of weeks is to make sure that you put the right signs into the calculator. No. Okay. I think we should do some examples because I think it's all a bit theoretical right now. I think by doing some examples, this will make a bit more sense. So flip over to the first page. Okay, so in this first example, this is a savings account. So there are no payments being made, right? Most of you have bank accounts. Does the bank pay you money outside of interest?
Yes.
Outside of interest? No. Okay, so the bank, no one is making regular repayments here. Sorry, I just realized that's wrong. sorry. The bank's not paying you, but in a savings account, you might choose to grow the amount in your account. So when you're working, you might say, oh, I'll put in a few $100s every week or every month. So I'm actually going to focus on this part first. So in this question, I'll just read it out. We open an account with $50,000, 5% per year, compounded monthly, and we make regular deposits of $1,200 a month. Okay, so who's making the payment here? Am I making the payment or is the bank making the payment?
You are.
We're making the payment. We're giving money to the bank. Am I happy or sad about that?
Negative.
We're sad, so it's going to be negative, all right? So, if you've got your cash out, go ahead and type negative 1200 into that field. So into PMT, you'll need to use the up and down arrow keys to change which row you're looking at. Okay, so once we're ready to use the calculator, we'll have filled in every single row except the one that we want to find. So once we're ready to press enter, one row will be blank, and that's the one we're trying to find. So have a read of the question. What are we trying to find here? What's the question asking you, Jason?
A number. How much money in the account after 10 years?
Okay, so which of these quantities do we think this is?
FV.
FV, the endpoints. So we don't know FV. So to use the financial solver, we will need to fill in every single row except FV. Okay, so I need a number for everything else. So let's start with N.
120.
Why is it 120?
Because it's compounded monthly.
Very good. 10 years. 10 years, monthly. So you can actually put in 10 times 12, and the calculator will calculate it automatically for you. So you don't need to write 120, you can just do 10 times 12.
Wouldn't it just be 120?
Yeah. But once you have a different number of years, like say 25 years, if you don't know what 25 times 12 is, the calculator can do it for you. Okay, do we know the interest rate?
Yes.
Okay, do I use 5 or 5 divided by 12? So, remember how I said the annual interest rate?
Damn it, Jason.
So, it's 5%. It's not 5 divided by 12 because you have to put in the yearly interest rate here. Okay? Common mistake.
Yeah.
You divide by 12 when calculating the capital R. You don't divide by 12 here. Okay. Present value. What's the value of the investment at the beginning? Now, what happened? Did I give money to the bank or did the bank give money to me?
I gave money to the bank. Wait, no. You gave money to the bank.
It's a savings account. I've opened an account with the bank and I put in 50 grand.
So you lose 50.
I gave money to the bank. It's negative. So I've deliberately started with an example where the numbers are negative so that you're focusing on the sign convention. Okay? All right, last part. I haven't told you what PPY and CPY are, so I'll go back to the first page. PPY is the number of payments per year, and CPY is how often the interest is compounded in a year.
So with the payments for this one would be 12.
Yeah, because you pay every month. So we pay monthly to the bank. How often does the bank compound interest for us?
So it's 12 as well.
12 as well. Okay? So I have yet to see a question in general maths where the numbers are different. So
Jinx it.
if it turns out that it is different, it should be very, very obvious to you in the question. Okay?
You know the exam right now that PPY and CPY are going to be different now?
Well, hopefully you'll have the fortitude to recognize that.
What about PMTAT?
Payments at end. Okay, so leave that one alone. So in this class, again, I have yet to see an example where it's different. So payments at end, please. So just leave it alone.
It's on end. Just begin or end.
End. Because interest is charged at the beginning of the month, capital R, and then we subtract D after that. Okay, so once you've got that, once you've got all the rows filled in, you can press enter, and it should give you a number. So make sure the cursor is in FV and press enter there.
That's a big year's number. That's the loudest one.
That's a very small number.
Yes.
Alright. Yeah, that's exactly.
It's a very small number.
Have you got the
The
signs?
negative side.
Okay.
I got 3.
All right, I'm gonna do it. Let's see whether we got the same number. Okay.
2,102,000. What? Wait. 21 million. What?
Yeah, this is interesting. This is why
No,
Oh, I don't know what I was saying.
we all seem to be getting different answers. So this is what I've got. Okay.
No, it's the same answer. I just said it wrong.
He's just saying this is a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So we just leave it as 2-1.
Yeah. For now, just round to the nearest cents. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this. We had negative numbers for PV and PMT. Now the future value is positive. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah. Because you've added money and then you're getting money.
That's right. So I've given money to the bank. The bank owes me money. Right? It's my money. It's not the bank's money. So I can choose to empty my account after 10 years and take away 269K.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Okay? So all right, we're gonna do 4 examples in total. So let's do the next one. Okay? So notice no recurrence relation, no amortization table.
Yep.
Okay, let's look at example 2. This is a loan. Okay, so let's start. What are we trying to find in this question?
How much is owed so
Okay, so again, we've got some starting information, some amount owed at the beginning, and I want to find out how much I owe at the end. So we're going to solve for the future value of this investment, which means I need to provide every number except that one. So I need a number for N, I, PV, PMT, PPY, and CPY. Okay, so monthly and monthly, 12 and 12. Okay, that's the easy part. Okay, I'm going to ask some people. So, Claire, what value of capital N do you think I should use here? Speak up. So N. So N is the number of periods, payments. How many years is this going for, Claire?
5 years.
Yep. And how often yeah. 5 years, 12 months per year. So in total, there's going to be 60. Okay, Tim, what's the interest rate? Okay, and why don't I divide by 12? Annual interest rate, very good. Okay, Jason, what's the present value of this investment?
Oh, it's is it 120
Okay, positive or negative?
positive?
Why is it positive?
Because you're getting the money back.
The bank is paying me.
Yeah, damn right it is.
Okay, I'm getting the money, so yes, positive 120,000.
And then it's negative. So negative 2,000.
And why is it negative?
Because we're paying it back.
We're paying the bank. We're sad because we're giving money away to the bank.
We are sad, but we are sad people.
Okay, so chuck the numbers in, see what you get.
Just put him inside the tent. I can't do that. Yeah, just prop his shoulders and just have him in the windshield.
Oh, I don't really like wood.
Did you get that?
A 2000
I do
Subaru
not,
Outback.
which is now even said.
That is
Oh, no. I didn't change the months.
That suits you so well.
No.
It's just a Subaru Outback suits Tony just too well.
I like that. What is this? I don't know if it's funny. It's like, I also got 17. Maybe 17. That's what I got.
Yeah, that's what I got. Well, that's what I got.
Okay. All right. We got a negative number. What does this mean?
We've had to pay the bank that much extra. So we've paid them back 1,200 plus that much.
So it can be a bit confusing if you're doing this for the first time to get a negative answer. What does it mean to get a negative value for FV? I need to pay the bank. Okay? Money is flowing from me to the bank if I settle everything. So here, this means I owe the bank 17K. Right, so I haven't paid off the whole loan yet. I paid off most of it, but still 17,000 left.
Let's just give him 17 grand from the 120,000 dollars. We've already paid it back.
So think about it, right? 60 payments of $2,000 is 120,000. But because of the interest, 120K isn't enough. I need to pay a bit more.
So basically, if I took a loan for $120,000 and went to the casino and it went up $18,000, I would have made a profit.
A small profit.
If you made a profit.
Well,
But using your mathematical skills, what is the probability of making a profit at a casino?
very low.
Pretty low.
Unless
Skill place game.
all in on blackjack, that's what I say.
All in.
No, but so that if you pay it back within a month, then you got no interest on it. So if you go to 100%.
All right, so year 12s, we're going to do the next page as well, and that'll be it for today. So before I continue, do you want to ask me any questions? If there's something that's unclear, I don't want you to leave here unless it's clear to you. Okay, sure. So the key things to remember are, number one, the sign convention. Positive or negative, and you need to know what the numbers stand for.
What the numbers mean?
Okay, example 3, please. This time, it's an annuity. This is the one that's probably the least familiar to us.
Oh my god, I have it.
All right, so Taylor, can you tell me what is the present value, PV here? Speak up. Okay, so sign convention.
Yes.
Am I giving money to the bank or is the bank giving money to me? No.
Take it out, so it's.
Well, it's an annuity. So it's like the bank is borrowing money from us and they're paying us back. So if the bank is borrowing money from us, that means I gave money to the bank.
We're losing money.
Right? We're losing money for a little while.
This is a scam. But the bank's paying us. No.
The bank is paying us. So what's PMT going to be?
5,000.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
Right? The bank is paying us.
Yeah.
Okay, again, I'm asking for the value after 8 months. So I'm solving for the future value FV, monthly. 8 months, 8%. Maybe I should have chosen a different number. That's all right. Okay, so go ahead, solve this one.
So if I agree, oh, it is about having so any 1237.983. What am I doing?
All right, so did you get that?
Yeah.
Rounded to the nearest cent, so 898 will go up to 8290.
Keep in mind CPY 12.
Yes, because it's compounded monthly and the bank repayments are monthly as well. Okay, again, let's check. Does the sign for the future value make sense?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Oh, because
So you're in the exam. You're in the exam in November, and you get this answer, and I'm trying to check. Does this number make sense? Should it be positive?
Yeah, because
yes,
that's how much
because
money
you're
they've
gonna
given
be
us.
earning interest.
The bank still needs to pay me this amount of money. Okay? Now, think about it. $5,000 for 8 months is $40,000. I gave them $40,000, so it makes sense that the bank still owes me a little bit because of the interest. So, bank still owes 1237.9. All right, you feeling okay about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than the recursion stuff. Once you know what the numbers mean. Okay, last one. Okay, this is where it starts to get a little bit more difficult. So in example number 3, the regular payment was $5,000.
Oh, yeah, first.
Now, the bank owes us 1.2K. So the bank doesn't need to pay 5K now. But they're not going to pay that either. Think back to last week's lesson. What's going to happen before the bank makes the final payment?
It's saying it down.
Yes. The bank owes me this much after 8 months, and at the start of the 9th month, I earn some interest. So this is going to go up a little bit. Okay? So once this goes up, I need to figure out what that new number is. Okay, now, I'm actually going to show you 3 different ways to solve this question. I know that might upset some of you. You just want one way to keep life simple. So I'll show you the textbook way, then I'll show you my ways, and you can pick which one you want to use. Okay? So here's how your textbook does it. So what they do is they say, let's imagine it runs for 9 months. So change all the numbers, keep all the numbers the same except for n, change that to 9. And recalculate the future value. What do you get?
money.
I don't know about you, but I don't
You
know.
finish negative value and then you put
Negative
Yeah.
3,375.
What's up, man?
Just do 5,000 minus the.
That's right. So let's think about what this means. Imagine I paid $5,000 in the 9th month as well. This value is negative, which means I owe the bank 3,753. I owe the bank.
That's because it's gone over the 5.
That's right. The bank's paid me too much. So we need to adjust it. Bank paid too much. Okay. So instead of paying $5,000, I just need to reduce 5,000 by 3,753. Okay. So does that make sense? $5,000 was too much. If I pay $5,000 in month number 9, the bank is overpaid by $3,500. So to compensate for that, I need to reduce the $5,000 payment by $3,500. So take that away from 5,000.
Oh, that's pretty easy. That's like the easy way. So
Okay.
yours harder?
Well, let me show you how I do it. One way is with the finance solver, one way is with recursion. So this is how I do it.
Well, let's not do it by
Why did you have to make it so weird?
It's an annuity, right? So all right, try that.
Wait, imagine you get told. Oh.
You're right, Phil?
Yes.
Oh, something's gone wrong.
You mean 1, 2, 4 things.
Thank you.
Why? What have you done?
I don't know what's happened. It's
The value that you use, the top one or the bottom one?
oh, sorry. I think this is right now.
Negative 1,046. Negative 1,246.
Okay, it's off by 1 cent because of rounding, so don't worry too much about that. We'll fix that next lesson. So let me explain what I've done here. So what I've said is, I owe the bank. No, the bank owes me 1,237.9. That's the amount of the last month, right? Month 8. Let the interest run for 1 month and don't pay anything. And then this will be the amount left after the interest has been charged. So this is saying 8% interest for 1 month. That's the amount owed. So I'll just let it run forward for 1 month here.
And it's the other way using the recursion.
That's right.
Yeah, just calculate the interest on that.
So R equals 8, P equals 12, capital R equals 1 plus R over P divided by 100. So you do 1237.9 times R. So if you do that calculation again, you should get 1246.15 up to the nearest cent. Okay, so I'll leave it to you to decide which way you prefer. I think that the textbook way is the easiest, but it can be longer because you've got to do this second calculation here for the 5,000. Yes, Brian?
I've been using R over 100 times P to get a bigger R. Does that mean
Well, if you remove the 1, you're getting the interest, not the new amounts.
Yeah.
So if you do it your way, you just have to add what you get to the original amount.
Okay.
Yeah.
So isn't 1246.15 actually negative?
Well, think about it, right? This is negative. This should be negative. Because I owe the bank, because I gave money to the bank. And this should be positive. Okay, so we'll fix that. Good pickup. So in the end, the calculator will give you the same number. Yeah, excellent. I love it. Okay, so my suggestion is, if you want the easiest way to do that last question, use method 1. Personally, I use method 2 or method 3, depending on what day it is. Okay, so we've now covered 8E. We don't have class on Friday, so I'll just show you a schedule for the next few weeks. It's right over there. Now, you can't see that, can you? This is on Teams. So on Teams, I've put up a schedule for the next few weeks. There's no class on Friday because of athletics. There's no class next Wednesday because there's a curriculum day. Only the teachers will be at school.
Wait, next week's a curriculum.
Next Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, bro.
Next Tuesday, it's round robin. And year 12s, the SAC is in week 6. So to be up to date by next week, you should finish 8A to 8E. 8E. A, B, C, D, E. And then every class we are covering one section except for the very last one we will cover 2. Yes, Jason? Yes. Okay, so we've got 10 minutes left. I'll let you continue working. Feel free to start E if you wish to get some practice. And I'm here to answer questions if you want any help.